All right, welcome back to the program. The number to call in, 844-900-7243, 844-900-7243. We covered Barack Obama endorsing VP Kamala Harris for president. You guys heard the audio with that fake behind call. Just so fake, so cringe-worthy. You can check. Actually, it's already up on Instagram. Thank you, Zach. Check out all of my social media at The Carl Jackson Show, X, Instagram, Facebook, wherever I am on social media, The Carl Jackson Show. Also, please subscribe to my podcast, Poor Favor. All right, wherever I am or wherever you go to get your podcast, The Carl Jackson Show is where you can find me. We also discuss this leaked Democrat memo that went out to spin the news about Kamala Harris being the border czar. They're trying to lie and say that she wasn't the border czar, but I don't want to get caught up in the word argument. Was she not the border czar? I can tell you this. As the Biden-Harris ticket, she's responsible for the border invasion. All right? Border czar or not, she's in part responsible for the border invasion. And you had Karine Jean-Pierre come out and what did she say the other day? She was praising Kamala Harris, trying to knock the Republicans. Well, Republicans could have had a deal, but they didn't want a deal on the border. All right, which is a really stupid answer because it doesn't answer why the invasion is continuing. And when you went back to look at the deal, what they wanted to codify into law beyond 1 million nearly legal immigrants that we allow into the country every year, what that legislation would have codified into law were near 1.8 million illegal aliens that we just say, hey, welcome. No paperwork, no anything. The dumbest thing ever. If you wanted to destroy a country, that's how you do it. I mean, just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But Kamala Harris has a problem. She has a working class problem. And I think, again, this is the stuff that's going to bite Democrats in the butt. I believe with Kamala Harris. I want you to be braced for it. You got to be ready for this stuff mentally. You got to get prayed up, and you just have to know you cannot get down. You have to fight through your emotions. You have to head to the ballot box. You have to bring people to the ballot box. You have to convince people to vote on policy. I heard one guy saying today, and I think this is the wrong tack right now. Guys, you've got the people that love Trump. You've got the people that hate Trump. The same will be true with Kamala Harris. All right? So one guy said, listen, and this is an argument I understand because I've used it before, but those days are gone. He was like, listen, we just need to tell people if they hate Trump, get over him, get over it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that ain't working anymore. The Democrats have a record. Look at how they've destroyed your life. Damn it, it takes you twice as much money to fill up your tank. Cars are being repoed at a rate that's 23% higher year over year. Is life tougher for you? Just ask them questions. You don't have to make everything about the candidate. You can lead them right to the policies and then say, all right, if you like those policies, then you vote for this candidate. Sometimes you got to bring them there. You can't just say, I'm there, so you better be there. No, that isn't how it works. That's not how human nature works. So we got to learn. We got to roll with this stuff. But you got to brace yourself. Again, let me just wrap this up. Republicans should expect Harris to make a closer race. Again, this is going to be this isn't a marathon campaign. It's a sprint. The goal is to give Kamala Harris a very short window to run for the presidency because she's such a disaster. Such a disaster. And I said, and I think Sean McConnell made a great point. I said before we went to the break, this was the worst possible candidate that Democrats could pick. But think about this. If you want the silver lining, if you will, this is the best they got. Understand that. If you're voting Democrat, the best they've got, well, at least they assume to run for office right now, is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris? The same lady that most Democrats were saying was an absolute disaster. They wanted to bypass her. They wanted her off the ticket. When Joe Biden's polls started coming down, who else can we put on the ticket to excite the base? Now all of a sudden, she's it? Give me a break, all right? So we talked about the bounce. This is what Democrats were looking at. The Democrats with Joe Biden were specific, right? You can mention age, and now they can flip the script. Oh, Trump is the older guy. But Trump is lucid. Trump is vibrant. Trump is, for his age, obviously he doesn't act like a 78-year-old. But what they saw in Joe Biden, particularly after the debate, even though they set him up for that debate, but what the rest of America saw is that going forward, Joe Biden was going to have a problem dealing with Trump. His faculties were always going to be an issue. And that's what the debate made clear for so many within the Democrat Party. So they didn't want to go against that. Another point, some of the Republicans' own arguments now work against them. This is in Real Clear Politics, by the way. This isn't me arguing this, but I just mentioned it. The oldest major party presidential nominee in history is now Donald Trump. Age isn't the problem. Donald Trump is 78. That guy acts like he's, 15, 20 years younger. All right. So it isn't age that's the problem. For Biden, it is. And actually for Biden, it isn't either. I mean, the guy has had 2 brain aneurysms. That's going to cause some damage. All right. That's going to cause some damage. Changing the conversation. Who's what? Say that again. She did? You guys got it? All right, let's go ahead.
In this election,
this is Kamala
we
Harris's
each face a question.
New ad, her first
What
campaign
kind
ad.
of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too.
The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Do you think they made that ad while Joe Biden was still sitting in the Oval Office? These fools have had this stuff ready to go. They believe in freedom. They believe in freedom, even though they just took it away from 14 million of their voters. That's amazing. That's amazing. See, she can play this ad all she wants. And then they're lying. Trump is scared to get on the stage with Kamala. Well, he doesn't know. You're not the nominee yet, Kamala. So he doesn't need to have a debate with you at this point. But every single one of these things you can pick apart. Healthcare? What do you mean? Government healthcare? You mean gun violence? Gun violence. The issue is in gun violence. You literally have, hundreds of millions of guns within the United States. And overwhelmingly, the problem is with gangs inside of blue cities that are using guns for their evil, that are using knives too. And guns aren't the number one way in which people are killed, all right, or murdered. It's just a lie. She talks about getting ahead. Getting ahead? How are you going to get ahead when Kamala Harris wants to make the government bigger? That means you have to pay more money to make it bigger. I mean, these people really, they really, you got to give it to them because I like the music to it. If I was a low information voter, I would have looked at that ad and I would have been like, yeah, let's roll with this chick. But all you have to do is get that chick on stage and expose her. And I love the analogy, again, that someone else gave. You just sit outside, just throw some jabs. Boom, just throw some jabs. And I really think the more people learn about Kamala Harris, she can put up all the ads that she wants. the more people learn about this lady in a short period of time, and I think conservatives are doing good. We got to continue to hit it. We got to continue to focus and hit. Man, I got to be careful with what I say when it comes to Kamala Harris. We have to continue to expose her policies. All right, we'll be back. Today's show is brought to you in part by Priority Gold. Economists warn that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and your 401k account as the stock market braces for impact. With inflation on the rise and global uncertainty looming, it's clear why central banks and savvy Americans are turning to gold. In times like this, Proverbs 21:20 reminds us to preserve what we built. Right now, that wisdom points us towards gold. If you haven't had your eye on gold, time to make it a priority. My name is Carl Jackson, and I am urging you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold and silver. Call 1-800-405-GOLD or visit PriorityGold.com/golden for a free gold info guide. Plus, see if you qualify for free shipping and storage. Act now to get your portfolio working for you while the market is golden. Again, call 1-800-405-GOLD, 1-800-405-GOLD to speak with a gold specialist or visit PriorityGold.com/golden, PriorityGold.com/golden. All right, welcome back to the program. So the left is going to try to change the conversation. They're going to try to call Trump the old man. They're going to try to make Trump the bad guy. But just remember the policies. Remember what you're feeling and share that with voters. Ask voters about how they're doing. If you're trying to bring somebody to the poll, make sure you always take them back to the policies. That isn't necessarily what's playing out in our sphere. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are emotionally charged, but the people that are going to be on the fence, you can use policy to reel them in and actually get them, make an emotional connection with them. Do you want this stuff to change? Do you want the economy to be better for yourself and others? I mean, we just got to put in some work because Democrats are they are putting on a propaganda fest when it comes to Kamala Harris. So don't expect this to be a landslide victory. We are going to see craziness like you wouldn't believe. However, I do believe if in this short window we can expose Kamala Harris and tell the truth about Kamala Harris, if you can do it to as many people as possible, show them the video that they're trying to hide and wipe clean, stuff that you may still have. Or I'm telling you, she is a horrible candidate. And they know it. But again, like Sean said, she's the best the Democrat Party has, which should absolutely concern you guys. Okay, so let me switch over to this. Here's where I think Kamala Harris could be in trouble. There was an article. Let me see if I can find it here. This guy, he's another guy on the left. I shouldn't say on the left. I think he's a genuine liberal. His name is Rui Teixeira, but Ruyteixeira. He was one of the ones that had worked with Barack Obama back in the day and told Barack Obama, listen, we are getting enough of the Latino vote and the black vote where we don't necessarily have to count on the working class, the white working class. Let me clarify. The white working class in order to win elections. Do you guys remember back in the day when Barack Obama literally, they just decided that they weren't going to go after the white working class? The craziest thing I've ever seen. That's why Trump was able to come in and scoop them up and but transform the Republican Party. Because a lot of those blue collar white workers, Barack Obama laid off at the curb. And Rui Teixeira was part of that. But he writes, the liberal patriot, I actually love reading his stuff. He's like Axel. He's really smart. All right, even though he's a liberal, he's really smart. And obviously there's a lot of liberals that are really smart. But I like reading Axelrod. I like reading this gentleman here. And Van Jones, when I like hearing his takes, even though he just played himself, this in the last few days, trying to hype up Kamala Harris. Come on, Van Jones. You know that was fake as a mug. You know that lady, that chick is a disaster. But here's what he has to say. Democrats are nothing short of giddy. Biden, who looked like a sure loser, bowed out of the race and was seamlessly replaced by Kamala Harris through deft and lightning-fast intra-party maneuvering. The race is reset. All is possible, he writes. Who can blame Democrats for being a bit slap-happy? They were staring into the abyss, and now they have a reprieve. They have a younger candidate and a more enthusiastic, unified party. And we have seen that, all right? To be fair, we have seen that. You have, even though it hasn't been major, you have more young people that are definitely more enthused about Kamala Harris than they were about Joe Biden. The party seems to be, at least at this point, unified, but just keep watching those polls, because if those polls shift and she starts looking really bad, the party won't be so unified. All right. Those are important and positive differences, he says, but there are also similarities to their previous situation that are highly negative and cannot be wished away. Here's one that he says he wrote about earlier. This is a simple truth. Now, remember, this is a guy formerly worked with Barack Obama that literally got or convinced Barack Obama or helped to convince Barack Obama to abandon the white working class in America. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. All right. But nonetheless, they did it. The reason why? Illegal aliens. It's what they're doing now. It's why the borders are wide open. They just figured they'd replace them with a bunch of illegal aliens. They'd replace us too. All right, so keep that in mind. But he says, here's a simple truth. How working class, non-college voters move will still or likely determine the outcome of the election, this year's election. They will be the overwhelming majority of eligible voters. 2/3 of the voters will be working class voters. And even, he says, allowing for turnout patterns only slightly less dominant among actual voters that account for 3/5 of the vote. Moreover, in all 6 key swing states, listen to this: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, the working class share of the electorate, both as eligible voters and as projected 2024 voters, will be higher than the national average. Who are the working class voters seem to be in love with right now? Who do they seem to be in love with right now? It follows, the column continues, that significant deterioration in working class support could put Biden, now Harris, in a very deep hole nationally in key states. Guys, those are the bingo states. Those are the swing states. Those are the bingo states. Kamala Harris, she can gain some black men. She can gain. I don't think she's going to gain more black women. I think that's already fixed. But what she can't gain are moderate and working class voters. She's going to have a hard time, especially if she does become the nominee and there is a debate. She's going to get exposed. Trump is going to expose her at the proper time if she is the nominee. But she has to become the nominee first. I think that's a smart move, by the way, by the Trump campaign. Conversely, the article, he goes on, a burgeoning advantage among working class voters would likely put Trump in a dominant position. This is very important to keep in mind as we are swamped by a tsunami of favorable Harris coverage in legacy and other center-left media, where once her retail political skills were disparaged, we are told that she is now, or always has been, a consummately effective, charismatic retail politician. Polls, of course, he writes, will be scrutinized for signs that the race is shifting in the Democrats' favor, and even small changes will be interpreted as signs that Trump is on the run. But in truth, he writes, it will take a few weeks for the race to settle out, and one should be cautious about interpreting initial results. That said, he goes on, we have seen so far does not suggest a fundamentally altered race. Guys, I want to talk to you about wealth protection research. At the very heart of our democracy lies a principle that we hold sacred. It's free speech. It's the cornerstone that supports every freedom that we cherish. Yet in today's digital age, discussions about our wealth, our rights, and our future are being silenced or overshadowed in mainstream narratives, leaving many feeling voiceless in conversations crucial to our financial independence and security. This is where wealth protection research steps in. They're armed with a mission that's never been more critical. Wealth protection research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of free speech, committed to giving a voice to the silence. Wealth protection research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth protection research has created a 2024 election wealth protection report. This free report highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money heading into the 2024 election. It contains ideas the mainstream media won't touch, and listeners can get it completely free. All you have to do is text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, act now. Text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy of this 2024 election protection report. It's time to widen the scope of what we're told, to hear the ideas the establishment does not think you can handle, and to take control of our financial destinies. Text ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you text the word ideas today, you'll also get a free gold investment kit from Wealth Protection Research, sponsored by Augusta Precious Metals. The Democrats, they still have a working class problem. Let me play. Where do I want to go? Actually, let's play this. This is Nikki Haley, and then I want to play Sunny Hostin. Bear with me. So let's play video clip number 2. This is Nikki Haley. Democrats are very smart to put in a younger candidate, but she's somewhat backed off of that. But we'll talk about that. Video clip number 2, por favor.
I guarantee you we're going to have President Kamala Harris. And you've said whichever party that retires its 80-year-old candidate first is going to be the one that wins the election. Do you still feel that way?
I think that, look, the Democrats are very smart to put in a younger candidate. I think that that's what America has craved.
All right. But she did go on later in the interview to say, but they put in the worst possible candidate or something to that effect, something like I said earlier. And she's absolutely right. They put in the worst possible candidate. That's why they have to scrub the internet. That's why they have to come out with all the ads. And I'm telling you, look at how everything is happening with breakneck speed. Just know that they were ready to throw Joe Biden under the bus. They were getting things ready. And there's no doubt in my mind that fake behind Kamala Harris was behind all of it, or played a part in all of it, I should say. So that is one thing. Now, here's what Sunny Hostin had to say. She claims that Kamala Harris is a moderate and defends her supporting bailing out criminals. And I've got an article a little later in the program that I'm going to tie into this, because Kamala Harris was soft on crime. We've heard the stories how she was tough on crime. I even watched I guess it was a documentary, if you will, about one gentleman that got a lot of time. She really went after him hard. But it turns out the vast majority of her cases, she was just another George Soros type. I don't think George Soros put her in, but a George Soros type AG and DA first, and then AG when she was in San Francisco. This chick was a disaster on crime. But here's what Sunny Hostin of The View has to say about Kamala Harris.
People are sort of, I think the Republicans are trying to frame her as this deep leftist. She's a former prosecutor. She's not only a former prosecutor, she was the AG of the largest Department of Justice in the country other than the real Department of Justice. Prosecutors are not really leftists. They put people in jail for a living, okay? They're pretty moderate. I know the vice president personally. She is not, she's moderate. And I was talking to Alyssa about that. And then they want to attack her on her record. She is one of the most
accomplished. Can I respond to that, or do you want me?
Yes.
I think the point is that in 2020, she ran in a moment where she ran to the left. And if she had run the campaign...
Meaning what?
Meaning focusing on...
Like what? Give
so
me an
one example was, this is the moment of George Floyd, the country's torn apart, and she put out...
She couldn't be the prosecutor then. She couldn't be
She put out a statement saying she wanted to bail out people who were protesting in streets. So people took that a certain way. They felt like she was running to... in that primary and someone like Biden won. She's not doing that now. This is a centrist Democratic
she's
message
leaning
that
into
pushing.
who she really is, because if you really want to talk about it, after George Floyd, people were angry about law enforcement. People were upset with prosecutors. They were police officers.
Yeah.
They were upset with policing in this country. So to run as a law and order candidate in 2020 would have been a bad move.
Her party
but
picked
what
on
she's
her for
doing,
that during the
and
primary.
what she's doing now is who she really is.
As God is my witness, I don't say this to be mean, but I really do feel dumber every time I listen to these chicks. I really do. And this is crazy. All right, so Kamala Harris is a moderate by what measure? I mean, GovTrack said she was the most liberal senator before they tried to scrap that. We'll be back. You might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of the big box stores or the shopping channels that they used to. They've been part of this cancel culture, so they want to pass savings directly on to you, my listeners. They have a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just one product. But with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some that you may even know about. Obviously, you know about the MyPillow. So here's what Mike is doing to get the word out. I'm inviting my listeners to go to mypillow.com for their $25 extravaganza. They have a 2-pack multi-use MyPillows for just $25. MyPillow sandals are just $25. Their 6-pack towel sets are just $25. Brand new pack of dish towels, $25. So for the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with the all-new Giza fabric are just $25 as well. And orders over $75 receive free shipping. All you have to do to get this amazing offer is go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or give them a call, 800-858-0263. That's promo code Carl. No, this can't be right. This cannot be right. This can't be right. Pete Buttigieg emerges as a VP favorite according to polls. All right, if she picks Pete Buttigieg, I will say it right now. That is a torpedoing ticket. Wow. But you know what? They're anti-identity politics. They're definitely going to play it with her. But I would be utterly shocked if Democrats picked Pete Buttigieg. That would be. I understand it would be a DEI dream ticket, but I don't see that. I don't see a lot of. Honestly, I think she would lose some of the black vote if she did that. I don't think black dudes want to see, first off, this chick claiming to be, authentically black when she's Indian and part Jamaican, and then this gay dude. And I'm sorry, listen, I don't hate you if you're gay. I don't that's whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry when to compare gayness to blackness, it's just wrong. I'm sorry, it's an insult. That's a lifestyle that you live in your bedroom. And when I walk out of the front door, people can tell that I'm black. Unless you're a dude and you're flipping your wrist and that, you know what I'm saying? It's like I can't stand that. I can't stand that the left tries to combine the two and pretend like being gay is like some major civil rights issue. Like no, I don't want to know what you do in your bedroom. It's none of my business. Stop making it my business. Like I just that would be well, you know what? Pick them. I think they would go down. I got to be careful with my language. All right, that would be a bad ticket. That would be a bad ticket, in my opinion. It's already a bad nominee in Kamala Harris, but I'm not taking it lightly, not taking it for granted, because, again, we see what the left is willing to do to try to put this lady on the map. All right, so getting back to this issue with the working class, this is going to be a really hard issue for Democrats to overcome, because I don't think that you can look at Kamala Harris seriously, especially when she was part of the Biden administration, and say, all right, this lady is going to somehow bring back jobs for the working class, particularly when she's been a part of or complicit in the border invasion. Excuse me. All right. This guy goes on to say, let me just read a little more of this. the last I mentioned was that this guy was saying that Trump is still ahead. Yes, Democrats will get a bump. Yes, they're kind of on this high, if you will, this sugar high. But he expects that that's going to come not crashing down, but that is going to calm down. He says Democrats still badly trail among working class voters. They've compressed margins among non-white and young voters relative to 2020. Of course, that may change, he says, in coming weeks. All right. Looking at the running poll averages, we have the following for Trump-Harris matchups. This is where Real Clear Politics has Trump over Harris by 1.7 points, 2.8 points with the full ballot, including Kennedy, West, and Stein. All right, so with those other candidates on the ballot, Trump has a larger lead. New York Times has Trump over Harris by 2 points. I'm not sure that I trust their poll, but they do. And DDHQ, The Hill, has Trump by 2 points. There's consistency there, he says. Another approach is to compare averages, he says, of Biden versus Trump and Harris versus Trump. He says, naturally, these only overlap when Biden was the actual candidate and Harris was a notional candidate. But the data are still of interest. He says Split Ticket has the most recent data on this, covering the month of July, and they don't show much difference between the candidates. Harris does slightly worse overall with a margin against Trump of 0.4 points worse than Biden. She does worse among men, a bit better among women, worse among seniors, better among those under 30, worse among whites and Hispanics, all right, and better among blacks and significantly worse among working class voters. Better among the college educated, all right, so she'll get more votes there. But the differences are generally quite small. So overall, he's saying in all these groups that they're bringing Harris in to win over Trump. At least initially, there's not much difference between she and Joe Biden. So just consider this. They are doing, the left, Democrat Party, they're doing everything they can to bump this woman up. If she doesn't get a huge bump, there's going to be a leveling off period. And then if there is a debate and Trump can question her on these policies, I'm telling you right now, take it to the bank. She will not do well in a debate. She will act nasty. I think she'll come off as condescending. I think she'll obviously call Trump a criminal. She'll mention some racist stuff. She'll mention the abortion stuff. Trump will have to stick with these policies, your policies that are implemented now, that you've implemented, helped to implement with the Biden-Harris administration, are hurting working class people. They're hurting Hispanics. They're hurting, they're hurting blacks. Seniors are hurting under you, especially seniors that are on fixed incomes. How are you seniors feeling under the Biden-Harris administration? I'm telling you, she will not be able to explain her way out of it. This lady has been, she is a fake. She is a fraud. Now, again, I'm not saying we shouldn't take her seriously. Quite the contrary. But I'm just saying, I think if they get in a debate, Trump could